Good morning, kindergarten. Good morning, Mr. Dojero. Hey, kindergarten, this is my third video that I'm making for you guys. I'm here at Legacy still. Actually, this is a Friday, which is interesting because it's a Friday that I'm recording, even though you're not going to watch it on Friday. You'll probably see this on Wednesday. I decided to wear my Legacy Uganda shirt. And so I'm all decked out like I would be if I was here on a Friday. Usually on Friday, you guys come into chapel and you see me and you're like, it's Mr. Pazman. Hey, Mr. Pazman. But today, there's no one here. I'm all alone in this classroom. Of course, I'm up in middle school right now. And I thought, before we get into Bible class today, let's all stand up. We're not going to sing. Oh, did you guys watch my video on the singing, on the songs, the silly songs? I did a silly song video with me and my daughter, Rumi, so she's in that too. You guys can find it. If you have your parents help you, you can go on Google Classroom, click the classwork link at the top of the Google Classroom page, and then it should be on the left side. There's all like different topics, and Bible is one, and I think inside the Bible topic are silly songs with Mr. D and Rumi. And you can watch that however many times you want to watch it. And you can have fun with it however many times you want to have fun with it. So for right now, let's just stand up very quietly. Are you doing it? I don't know. It kind of feels weird doing it all alone and not seeing anybody do it with me because I don't even know. You might just be sitting on your couch going, I'm not going to do that. But hey, get up off the couch and let's have fun together. Let's go. Pretty good. You got it for the most part on that one. Oh, let's do the other thing that we do. Did you do it? You have to do it after I do it. I don't know if you guys are doing it. No, not this one. Not this one. It gets me every time. All right. Hey, go ahead and sit back down on the couch. Let me show you what I'm going to be sitting down on today. I'm going to put it into place. Look what I found here in this classroom. It looks a little bit like this. Boom, check out that chair. And boom, check out, not only is this chair really cool that I get to teach from today, this cool kind of thinking chair, but also we're going to come back to this book. Last time we looked at Elohim, which was the name for God Almighty, like God the biggest, God the best. That's Elohim. Today we're going to look at El Hemet, which means God of truth. Remember, this book is called I Am, and these are different names for God in the Bible, names that even though in the Bible, in the English Bible, it'll just say like God or Lord, here, these are names of God in Hebrew, and it tells you what they mean and really the significance of it. So that's what we're doing. I am 40 reasons to trust God. This is reason number 2, God of truth. El Hemet, God of truth. Say that with me. El Hemet, God of truth. Almost sounds like you're saying El Helmet. Hemet. El Hemet. There's no L in the middle of it, though. Like the letter L is just El Hemet. It's called the sad day in the garden. Remember last time, I don't know, I can't remember if I showed you the pictures or not, but last time was how God made the whole world. And he's the creator God, and he creates the whole world and the animals, and he even creates Adam and Eve at the end, right? We ended there with God creating absolutely everything, including Adam and Eve. Everything was good, and everything was fine, and everything was hunky-dory. Yes, I just said hunky-dory until this day. And I know that you guys, a lot of you already know this story, but we're going to go into it. again. El Hamet, God, truth. God speaks truth. Do you always speak the truth? Not really, huh? Sometimes you do, and that's great. Maybe even most of the times you do, and that's great. Sometimes we don't speak the truth, though, and we really should be speaking the truth. Why? Because God speaks the truth. All right, so this story is going to kind of come from Genesis chapter 2 and chapter 3. Remember, this isn't the Bible, but this is just reminding us of the story that's in the Bible. Freeze. Unfreeze. All right. From Genesis chapter 2 and 3 is kind of where we get the story from. So from the Bible in Genesis chapter 2 and chapter 3. A clear, clean river rippled through Eden. That was the beautiful garden where Adam and Eve lived with God. Now in the center of the garden stood two very special trees. And remember, God has already created like all trees and all everything. God created everything, including these two trees, including snakes. God created everything and said it was very good. Oh, it was good. When God made it, he's like, That's good. Of course, everything that God does is good. But there were two special trees in the middle of the garden. One was a tree of knowing good and evil. It's kind of an interesting name. We say apple trees and peach trees. This was a knowing good and evil tree. And it makes you go, huh? That's kind of weird. We'll get to that in a second. And there was one called the tree of life. So there were two very special trees in the middle of the garden. And the river flowed through the garden. And it watered everything, all of the plants and the trees. Now, God had told Adam, this was before Eve had even been created. By the way, check this out. My daughter made this for me. This is a bookmark, and I keep it in my book. It's a cat. She colored it. And then it says, books have my heart. I love books. I have so many books in my house. It's kind of crazy. In fact, my kids say, Dad, you have too many books. Stop getting books. I can't. I love books. Books are so good. This is one of them. Books are great. God had told Adam, before Eve was made, Adam, you can eat from any tree in the garden. Check it out. There are all these different kinds of trees. There's like apple trees, and there's lemon tree. Most people don't eat lemons. Some people do, but they're kind of like sour. So you could take the lemons and squirt them on your salad. There's orange trees and pear trees, and there's all kinds of plants. There's avocado trees, right? You can eat from any tree you want in the garden, except the tree of knowing good and evil. God told Adam, when you eat from that tree, you will die. God told Adam, wow, you die. That's not good. So Adam stayed away from that tree. When Eve was made, I imagine Adam walking her around the garden saying, Eve, check it out. We have all this food. We can eat from anything we want. There are all those trees, and then there's plants, and then there's fruit, right? Look at the watermelon over there. You see the cantaloupe? Oh, it's cantaloupes. Mwah! Perfect time of year for cantaloupes, right? Carrots and everything. But I imagine him saying, but Eve, you see this tree right here? This is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And God told us not to eat from it. So let's not even touch it. I imagine him saying that. Let's not even touch it. Right? Let's stay away from that tree because God said, when we eat from that tree, we'll die. What a scary thought. So they didn't eat from that tree. Now, you need to know this. This is something you need to know. God has an enemy. Did you know that? God has an enemy who didn't like Adam and Eve. And one day, God's enemy came into the garden. And do you know what he was dressed up to look like? You remember? Slithering, sneaky snake. And the snake went to Eve and said, "Oh, Eve, did God tell you you could eat from any of these trees in the garden?" He asked a simple question, and Eve answered with truth. "No," Eve answered. "No, God didn't say that. God said we could eat from any tree except the tree that's in the middle of the garden. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. We can't eat from that. If we eat from it, we will die." Satan answered, "You will die." Time out. Pause. Think about it. God said, "Don't eat from the tree or you will die." Satan said, "You're not going to die." What's he saying? What Satan is saying, God's not telling the truth. Basically, he's saying God's lying. Can you imagine that? Satan, he's the enemy of God. He's dressed up like a snake. He tells Eve, God's not telling you the truth. Now think about this. Eve has never heard a lie before. She's never had to sit there and think, I wonder if this person is lying to me. All of a sudden, the snake speaks. Now there's a problem. She's hearing words that are different from God's words. She's never been confused before. She's never had to think about it. And I wonder if when the serpent talked to her, if he was like, oh, poor Eve. No, you're not going to die. You're not going to die. You'll be like God. You'll know good and evil. That's all. This tree, just like if you eat an apple tree, you know what an apple tastes like. If you eat from this tree, knowing good and evil, you'll just know what good and evil is. You'll be like God. Oh, poor Eve. This is what I imagine the snake is like saying, poor Eve, God must not love you. Because he told you can't eat this, and it'll make you like him. He doesn't want you to be like, oh, poor Eve. This is really tricky, huh? See, here's what would happen. We don't even know what kind of fruit it was. We don't know if it was an apple tree, a pear tree, a pomegranate tree, right? We don't even know what kind of tree it was. And it's not that the tree was evil or had an evil spell or that it was rotten. The point was God had made a rule, and the rule was don't eat from this tree. So obey me, and you know good. Right? This is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Already they knew good because they obeyed God. But the moment that they disobeyed God by eating from that tree, they would know wrong. They would know evil. They would know sin, because that's what sin really is. Sin is really disobeying God. So the moment that they ate from the tree, it's not that they would become smarter, but they would know something that they'd never known before. They would know disobedience and sin, because that's what the tree was about. Oh, what a terrible deal that was. Because the snake, he tricked Eve. Eve listened to the snake, and she gazed at the fruit on the tree. Oh, it looks good. I mean, it looks like it's good to eat. Just like the apple, just like the avocado, just like the pineapple. It looks good. And I imagine reaching up and grabbing some of the fruit, popping. Oh, it smells good. You know, fruit smells really good. Sometimes I love the smell of oranges. Oh, that smells so good. And it looks good. And then she started thinking about what the snake had said. And the snake had told her, it'll make you smart. It'll make you wise. You'll know things that you didn't know before. What he didn't tell her was, the thing that you're going to know is sin. It's disobedience. It doesn't make you better. It's going to make you worse. She got tricked. And so she grabbed that fruit. She smelled it. It smelled good. It looked good. And she thought, oh, then the snake tells me it's going to make me wise. It'll make me like it. So she went, everybody grab some fruit. Go ahead, just grab like that. Don't grab real fruit, just yeah, like that. Maybe your hands are smaller, so it's smaller. But don't you bring it close, smell Now, if you wash your hands probably smell good. So it smells good. If you didn't wash your hands, it might stink. I don't know. But it smells good. It looks good. And so Eve went, oh, and she bit into it. Oh no. She chewed on it a little bit. She went, ooh. It did taste good, maybe. But then she did one of the saddest things. She turned and she handed it to Adam. She handed it to Adam. The Bible says Adam was with her. But Mark, back in the book. This is the terrible thing. Because you see, God had told Adam, don't eat from the tree. Adam told Eve, yes, but God gave the command to Adam. God said, Adam, take care of my garden. You're in charge of it. You're in charge of the birds. You're in charge of the beasts of the field and the fish. And you get to take care of my garden. And don't eat from this tree, Adam. Adam got the command from God. And here, Eve hands the fruit to Adam. And it says Adam, the Bible says Adam was with her. Now, here's the thing. Adam should have said, no. Adam, even before Eve ate, Adam should have said, I don't think so. He should have gone up to the snake and said, snake, excuse me, this is not your garden. This is not, those aren't your trees. God made those trees. God made you. God made everything. And God gave me the command to not eat from this tree. And my job is to protect this garden. Adam should have said, snake, get out. Get out of the garden. Get out. Because what you're telling me is that God is lying. And God doesn't lie. God's the creator. God is El Hamed. God is a God of truth. And Satan, though, snake, you're lying to me. And God should have said, be gone. I mean, not God. Adam should have said, be gone. Be gone like Donkey Kong, right? Adam should have said, get out. Instead, he took the fruit from Eve. And he ate it. He wasn't tricked. He sinned on purpose. That's a big deal. Adam and Eve chewed the fruit. They swallowed. Then they looked at each other and said, oh no, we made a big mistake. We should have believed God's words. They wanted to hide. Later that day, when they heard God walking in the garden, they did run away from him and they tried to hide from him. And you and I both know, hello, you can't run away from God. But you and I also both know, even when we do things that are wrong, we hope other people don't find out. You know, if you do something that's wrong that mom and dad tell you not to do, sometimes you try to hide, or you try to hide the wrong thing you did. But God knew where they were, and he called out to them, and he said, did you do the thing that I told you not to do? And he talks to Adam first. You know what Adam did? He actually kind of, in a little way, he kind of blamed God. I know, right? Like, crazy. But what he did is he said, the woman that you gave me, God, she gave me the fruit to eat. So he doesn't really blame the woman. Really, he's like blaming God. God, if you wouldn't have given me that woman, I wouldn't have eaten that fruit. He didn't just say, yes, I was wrong. He says to God, it's kind of your fault, which it was not God's fault, obviously. Then God looked at Eve, and Eve said, well, the snake lied to me about the fruit, and I ate it. So she blames the snake. Well, because Adam and Eve disobeyed God, they could no longer live in the garden with him forever. Someday, they would die. God's words were true, because God cannot lie. You have done what I told you not to do, God said, and now you must leave this beautiful garden. Oh, God punished the sneaky snake, too. You will crawl on your belly from now on, God said. But God still loved Adam and Eve, and he made new clothes for them before they left the garden, and he had a plan ready. One day, he would send someone to make everything right again. He would send someone to fix everything. Can you think of who that someone is? That's Jesus, right? So what does all this mean? Some games and toys use pretend money that doesn't even look real. If you want to buy something in a store, for sure you can't use a pretend money. You've got to go with real money, right? You can't go to the store with pretend money and try to buy food or something like that. You go to the store and you go, no, obvious. Stores need to know if money is real or fake. So cashiers, the people that take the money to the store, the cashiers practice feeling real dollar bills. They learn the smell of it, they learn the size of it, they learn all the special markings on it, everything about the money. They learn how to recognize what's true so that they can spot pretty easily what's fake. Because the fake thing isn't anything like the true thing. Well, one of God's names, like we've said, is El Hamet. It's the God of truth. In the Bible, God tells us God tells us what is real or what is true about himself, about people, and even about the world. When we know and believe God's words, which are true, then we can also recognize words that aren't true because they're different. What God says is always true. And God, the God of truth, never lies. In fact, he can't. His words always prove true. And in fact, in the Bible, in the book of Hebrews, in chapter 6, it says, it is impossible for God to lie. So what a sad day, right? The saddest day. Here's them, and they're leaving the garden on this side, and they're having to go away from it. But God's going to do something to fix it and to make it better. It's going to be a long time from this story, and it's actually a long time ago for you and me, but it's Jesus, right? And it's Jesus dying on the cross. And we're going to get to action really soon because Easter's coming up.